Thanks for staying with us on Plus TV Africa. My name is Felicity Ezewike with the news. Pressure is mounting on Theresa May as British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson becomes the third member of a cabinet to resign in just under 24 hours. A Downing Street spokesman said, and I quote, "This afternoon, the Prime Minister accepted the resignation of Boris Johnson as Foreign Secretary. His replacement will be announced shortly. The Prime Minister thanks Boris for his work." End of quote. Earlier in the day, former Minister of Housing Dominic Raab was appointed by the Prime Minister as the new Brexit Secretary after David Davis handed in his resignation over soft Brexit plans by the Prime Minister. Mr. David's resignation was swiftly followed by that of Steve Baker, the number 2 at the Department for exiting the EU. Still from the UK, police officers have confirmed the death of Dawn Sturgis, who died after coming in contact with the Navy guards Novichok. A murder investigation will be launched into her death. She died after a week of being admitted into intensive care at a hospital in Salisbury. Police authorities have confirmed that this latest poisoning was unlikely to be deliberate and that the victim and her boyfriend, who remains in intensive care, were probably accidentally exposed to contaminated material. President of Turkey, Tayyip Erdogan, has taken the new oath of office for a new 5-year presidential term on Monday. The oath ceremony, which held at the capital Ankara, concludes the constitutional changes approved in a referendum last year, transiting from a parliamentary system to an executive presidency, which gives the president power to issue executive orders, dissolve parliaments, and impose state of emergency. President Erdogan, who has ruled for more than 15 years as prime minister and president, will announce his new cabinet shortly. It has been a busy day for all the parties involved in the rescue operation to bring out a set of schoolboys and their coach. Rescue workers have suspended the operation until tomorrow. So far, 8 of the 12 boys have been taken out, leaving 4 others and the coach. A total of 12 boys who formed a soccer team and their coach first went missing more than 2 weeks ago. This incident has remained in the headline, with several divers and personnel providing their services to ensure that all the boys and their coach are out safe. Meanwhile, parents of the 12 boys trapped in the Tham Luang Nan Non cave in Thailand have not been told if their children were rescued. The parents, instead of leaving or being reunited with their children, have agreed to remain at the cave site until all the boys and their soccer coach are brought out of the cave. Ahead of the rescue, Thailand's Health Secretary Dr. Jesada Chokdamrong Sok says that the boys will be quarantined for 1 or 2 days and receive further evaluation by doctors for 5 to 7 days. This is a developing story which we're tracking, and we will stay with all the updates and bring them to you. In South Africa, Duduzeni Zuma, the son of former President Jacob Zuma, was released on bail after appearing in court in leg irons on Monday on charges of corruption, the biggest scalp so far in an attempt to get to the bottom of the graft allegations that swirled around his father. Duduzeni Zuma, who returned to South Africa last week to attend his brother's funeral, was released on a 100,000 rand bail, with his case postponed to January 24, 2019. Zuma arrived at the Johannesburg Specialized Criminal Court on Monday after he was detained briefly at Johannesburg's main airport on Friday in relation to a corruption case filed in 2016. When we return, we will bring you news making headlines across Nigeria. Don't go away. Some leaders of a faction of Nigeria's ruling party, APC, on Monday afternoon gathered in Abuja to sign a memorandum with opposition parties for the 2019 general elections. The reformed APC members were led to the Monday event by their leader, Buba Galadima. Mr. Galadima met with leaders of opposition parties like the PDP and SDP to sign the memorandum of understanding. Apart from Mr. Galadima, others at the meeting from the PDP include Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, a Senator Dino Malai, and Akwa Ibom State Governor Emmanuel Udom. A former Senator Ben Obi, who briefed journalists, said the parties gathered to sign a memorandum for a coalition that will take over power in 2019 and ensure the defeat of Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari-led APC. He described the 2019 election as a battle between light and darkness, saying the coalition is the light that has come to rescue Nigeria. Details will be brought to you in a subsequent bulletin. Away from that, the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has ordered all state police commands to beef up security with particular attention to flashpoints across the country with immediate effect. A release signed by the Force Public Relations Officer, Jimoh Moshood, directed all commissioners of police to institute 24 hours crime prevention and police visibility patrol, as well as embark on a show of force exercise. They are to pay particular attention to places of worship, schools, markets, venues of recreation, and other public spaces to forestall any untoward incident. The commissioners, their supervising assistant inspectors general of police, and other police formations are to liaise with community leaders and other stakeholders to nip crimes in the bud. This directive is coming just days after the recent ambush and killing of 7 policemen in Abuja on the 2nd of July 2018 by armed bandits. The Nigerian army has formally handed over 183 children linked with the Boko Haram terrorist group in the northeast to the United Nations Children and Education Fund for rehabilitation. The rescued children include 175 boys and 8 girls. Some of these children were used as fighters and suicide bombers. This handover is described by Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukaburatai, as being in line with the international laws for the protection of children in conflict. The children would go through comprehensive psychological support and rehabilitation program to help their reintegration into the society. A court in Niger State has sentenced 17 members of the violent Islamist movement Boko Haram to between 2 and 7 years in jail, a senior state prosecutor said on Monday. Of 42 suspects in trial, 17 got between 2 and 7 years in prison, and 21 others were released at the end of a 6-day trial in the southeastern Diffa region. Prosecutor Chabo Samna at the High Court in Namsi told AFP the trial of the 4 other suspected members of the jihadist movement, which originated in Nigeria and has launched bloody attacks in neighboring countries, was postponed until mid-October. The first trials of Boko Haram suspects in Niger were held in the capital in March 2017. Some were convicted and jailed for up to 9 years, while others were acquitted for lack of evidence. A Nigerian, Ozumba Tochukwu Lawrence, was reportedly killed by a gunman on July 6 in South Africa. The Nigerian mission in South Africa has condemned the killing. The Consul General of Nigeria in South Africa made this known in a statement by the Vice Consul Information and Culture, David Abraham, yesterday in Abuja. Abraham said the Consul General received with pain the unfortunate news of the assassination of Tochukwu Lawrence by a yet-to-be-identified assailant. He said the ugly incident was said to have occurred at Middelburg, South Africa. Our correspondent spoke with the Senior Research Fellow of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Dr. Shegu Bolariwo, to get his reaction on the killing of another Nigerian in South Africa.
These killings are happening too many times. I think nearly every week now, a Nigerian or some Nigerians would have to be killed in South Africa. And this is too much. If Nigerian government at the summit level does not quickly address this thing will degenerate into what we call serious confrontation in Nigeria-South African relations. Nigeria should start what we call a reciprocal attitude towards South Africa as a country and towards South Africans as our brothers and sisters, as we call them. Let even South African businesses should be shut down to an extent and let them know. They have a lot of businesses here. South African population is just about 55 million. Nigeria is, for God's sake, over 170 million. So they are all here because Nigeria is a big market.
Is there an amiable way without threat of sanctions and retaliation?
There should be. Normally, at the summit level, that is at the president level, the president to president. One of the recommendations we have made in the past is that the South African government itself should not use carrot style again. They start applying stick policy to their own citizens too. Because if a Nigerian kills a South African here, even before the government here is now, the police would have arrested and they will know what to do to such a person. So the government of South Africa should take a drastic step by, arresting those who killed, arresting those who attacked, arresting, prosecuting, punishing. It will serve as deterrence to other South Africans. Then at the level of Nigerian government, the Nigerian government should also make a solid pronouncement now, because I know in the past they've done. Nigerian government made a serious pronouncement in 2016. They also did around 2017. And I also remember the Nigerian Foreign Affairs Minister, Mr. Geoffrey Onyema, also visited South Africa over issues like this then last year. And they made a lot of agreements, they made a lot of promises and all of that. But if all of these are not coming to bear, if the South African government cannot punish its own people, then we can start punishing them ourselves from this Nigerian perspective.
Here's the timeline of some of the killings of Nigerians in South Africa. Four persons were found dead following a deadly attack by suspected headsmen on 5 communities in Newman and Dempsey local government areas of Adamawa State. The attackers also invaded local government area of neighboring Taraba State, destroying properties. Residents said their communities were invaded by the gunmen on motorcycles, shooting sporadically into the air. The member representing Newman at the Adamawa State House of Assembly, Sodom Tayedi, confirmed that the attack started from 4 p.m. on Sunday and lasted late into the night. Tayedi said some people were caught unawares, being a market day in one of the communities. Business reports after this. In business, the trading of dollar in the investor and exporters window has increased in volume as the first half of 2018 recorded $29.7 billion, higher than $23.9 billion traded in 2017. This followed a 24.2% increase in volume. On an average, daily transaction also increased to 247.5 million in the first half of this year from $170.9 million the year before. According to analysts at Afri Invest Limited, the increased level of participation shows how flexible the market is, as investors prefer the I&E window for their forex deals. In order to address the major challenges affecting affordable housing in Nigeria, the central bank announced it is collaborating with the Nigerian Refinancing Company. This was disclosed today by Aisha Ahmed, the CBN Deputy Governor, Financial System Stability in Abuja. The collaboration is aimed at addressing legal and administrative constraints faced in the housing sector and reduce risk of lending to the housing sector. Aisha said currently Nigeria's housing stock is about 13 million with a population of about 180 million people. Hence, about 60 trillion naira is required to address the country's housing deficit, according to a World Bank study. Still in business, the Nigerian stock market closed on an upward trend today as all-share index gained 0.06% to close at 37,647.93. Leading the list of top gainers was Dangote Cement, which gained 2.0 naira to close at 227 naira. Other gainers were Flour Mill, rising by 0.8 naira, Fort Oil 0.8 naira, CCNN 0.65 naira, and Julius Berger 0.5 naira. NASCON led the list of top losers as it shared 5.28%, dropping from 21.8 naira to 20.65 naira. WAPCO dropped by 1 naira, Stambig 1 naira, Dangote Sugar 7 kobo, and Corn Oil, which dropped by 0.5 naira. The top trades were Access, Zenith Bank, FBNH, Transcorp, and UBA. Market capitalization closed at 13,637 trillion naira, while the total deals in today's stock market were 3,422 naira. Still ahead on Plus TV News is a roundup on sports and entertainment. We're back in a moment. Don't go away.
In entertainment, Ugo Stevenson, a popular high-life musician and a 2008 winner of the Nigerian Music Awards, public commentator and writer, and Izuna Obiako, a chief executive officer of Twin Star Lightning and Sage House in Owerri, have both been kidnapped, and the abductors are demanding payment for their release. Ugo was abducted while on his way home, and his abductors are demanding the sum of 5 million naira. His wife revealed that she has been contacted by the kidnapper after 2 days of his disappearance. Obiako, on the other hand, was allegedly abducted in his Jeep while on his way home after the close of business for the day. The abduction of these two entertainers has begun a social media outcry by friends, fans, and family who are pleading with the abductors for their immediate release and condemning their actions. Beyoncé and Jay-Z will lead an A-list lineup to mark 100 years since Nelson Mandela's birth in a Johannesburg festival by the Global Citizen Movement to eradicate poverty. The event will be celebrating the late anti-apartheid icon and drawing a number of a leader in an attempt to throw a spotlight on fledgling efforts to eradicate the world's worst poverty. Global Citizen announced on Monday. The celebration is hoped that the run-up to the festival will raise commitments of $1 billion to help the world's poorest, with half of the amount aimed at women and girls. The event is to feature popular musicians including South African hip-hop producer Cassper Nyovest, Nigerian top musicians Wizkid, Femi Kuti, and D'banj. Following French President Emmanuel Macron's visit to Nigeria, and in particular the Africa Shrine, our entertainment reporter Ife Oshinkeye brings us a report on the history and cultural impact of the shrine.
The new Africa Shrine has become a tourist attraction as it showcases photo galleries of the Afrobeat legend Fela Anikulapo Kuti, also known as the Abameda. Fela, who died on August 2, 1997, was a Nigerian multi-instrumentalist, composer, musician, political maverick, and human rights activist. He was the first cousin of Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka, first African to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. Fela's style of music, Afrobeat, is a fusion of jazz, funk, Ghanaian and Nigerian highlife, psychedelic rock, and traditional West African chants and rhythms. He created the old Africa Shrine, Kalakuta Republic, in 1970, but it was burnt down in 1977 after the release of his album, Zombie, a song which attacked Nigerian soldiers using zombie as a metaphor to describe the methods of the Nigerian military. This set off a vicious attack on the Kalakuta Republic by over 1,000 soldiers. After his death from complications related to AIDS, the new African Shrine was established and is managed by the oldest children of Fela Anikulapo Kuti, Femi and Yeni Anikulapo Kuti. It is located in Ikeja, Lagos State. Many have defined the African Shrine as a representation of African culture, strength, and music. There's no surprise it captured the attention of French President Emmanuel Macron as he visited the New African Shrine on July 3rd, 2018 during his official visit to Nigeria. The shrine serves as the host location of the annual Celebration Music Festival, which serves as a celebration and remembrance of the great Fela Anikulapo Kuti. This attracts visitors from different parts of the globe, thus dubs the New African Shrine as an official tourist destination by the Lagos State government. Ifeoluwa Oshinkeye reporting for Plus TV Africa.
And that's it on entertainment. The very best in sports right after this.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko with the biggest stories in the world of sports. And starting off on the home front in Scrabble, the Nigerian Scrabble Federation, NSF, earlier today announced the reappointment of Coach Anthony Ikolo as the national coach, and he would handle both the senior and junior team for another 4 years. And this was confirmed by the technical director of the NSF, Farouk Babaina. And Babaina said the federation have directed the 6 zonal representatives in the board to appoint their coaches and forward same to the national coach. He said that the coaches would work hand in hand with the national coach to ensure continuous development of Scrabble. And Ikolo was appointed in July 2014 as the national coach, and his tenure expired this July. And Ikolo, on the other hand, expressed happiness on his reappointment and pledged to continue to do his best for the development of the game. And Nigeria's Moses Peter of Akwa Ibom State is the current world #2 Scrabble player, while Saidu Ayoride is currently the African Scrabble champion. And in the transfer news, West Ham United have completed the signing of midfielder Jack Wilshere on a free transfer. And his transfer was confirmed by the Premier League club earlier on today after he put pen to paper on a 3-year deal until 2021. And Wilshere became a free agent following the expiration of his contract at boyhood club Arsenal, where he spent 17 years. And on his transfer to the London club, the 26-year-old said via the club's website that it feels good and it also feels special. And in tennis, defending champion Roger Federer outclassed 22nd seed Adriana Manarino to reach the Wimbledon quarterfinals without dropping a set in a 6-love, 7-5, 6-4 win on center court, and has now won 32 consecutive sets at SW19. And he will play South African 8th seed Kevin Anderson in the last 8 on Wednesday. And the top seed is bidding for a joint record 9th singles title to draw level with Martina Navratilova. And Federer served out the match with an ace out wide, winning in 1 hour and 45 minutes. And the Swiss is 2 sets short of his all-time record streak, which he set between the third round in 2005 and the final in 2006. And in the female category, Serena Williams, 7-time champion, reached the Wimbledon quarterfinals with a straightforward win over Russian qualifier Evgenia Rodina. And it was a rare meeting between mothers at this age of a Grand Slam tournament. And Williams was in control throughout a 6-2, 6-2 victory. And for Rodina, whose left thigh and right knee were taped, often moved slowly and could not deal with Williams' power. And the American goes on to face Italian world number 52, Camilla Giorgi, next. And that's it on Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Thanks, Udoka. And that's a news roundup of events. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do join us again. My name is Felicity Ezewike. Have a great evening.